What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I have something a little bit special that I want to discuss, a whole different video series. But guys, before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly and help the channel grow. All right, guys, getting right into it. So last week, I discussed a little bit my UFC flyweight Mount Rushmore list. Well, I want to continue that going into this week, discussing my UFC Bantamweight Mount Rushmore list. Now, this is subjective. This is just my opinion, so feel free to disagree. This is all in good fun, right? But because there's so many names that could have been on this list. As the Bantamweight division has grown over the years, we've had a lot of guys who have flourished. And also, as I make this list, it's not going to be in any particular order as well. 1 through 4 does not mean first through 4. I've picked my 4, not in any particular order, and I will do an honorable mention at the end of the video. Someone who was very close to making the list and possibly even could be on anybody else's list, but is not on my list, but I still want to give them the recognition that they deserve for their career. But starting with number 1, we got Dominic the Dominator Cruz. I mean, you cannot discuss the bantamweight division without discussing Dominic Cruz. This guy made a career of comebacks, the comeback kid, a career of resilience, battling through injuries to come back and win titles. His previous titles that he had to relinquish because of these injuries, he came back and said ring rust was not a thing, was able to get his belts back, had the whole rivalry with Uriah Faber, all of Team Alpha Male. I mean, to be honest, this guy, I mean, had such an unprecedented career. He had such a dominating performance over Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson that whole flyweight weight, he basically sent Mighty Mouse back down to create his own weight class at flyweight. I'm pretty sure it didn't even exist at that time. That's the type of guy that Dominic Cruz has been throughout his entire career. Somebody who, I mean, is tough as nails, is going out, he talks the talk, walks the walk, goes out there, tries to break his opponents mentally before the fight even starts. You cannot discuss the bantamweight division without even starting with Dominic Cruz, an absolute pioneer and legend of the small guys in MMA. What else is there to say about the guy? Future Hall of Famer, absolute legend. Number 2, Merab Dvalishvili, the current UFC Bantamweight champion, who has been on such an unprecedented run, such a streak, taking everybody out on his way to the title, and now just looking better and better ever since he's won the title, taking it from Sugar Sean O'Malley, then defending against Umar Nurmagomedov, and most recently beating Sean O'Malley in even more dominant fashion in their rematch. Right now, Umar is on a streak where we don't even know if he's going to be stopped. Probably going to be fighting Corey Sandhagen next. But right now, I mean, stifling Jose Aldo, stifling Peter Yan, just nullifying everybody's game plan on the way to just greatness. Beating guys with pressure alone, his willpower alone, grit, grind, determination, all those things. That is what makes the machine Merab Dvalishvili so good, and what has put him on this Mount Rushmore probably very, very prematurely before his career is even over. That's pretty, for me, I think that's saying so highly about him, for him still being active as a champion. He's already on my Mount Rushmore for the 135-pound division. Third, now this one's probably going to be the controversial one, but I got TJ Dillashaw. I think the way that he won the belt as the underdog that he was against Renan Barão, and then was able to beat Barão in their rematch, and then he lost the belt to Cruz, but then went away, came back, had the rivalry, why did I even speak like that? Rivalry with Cody Garbrandt, was able to beat him both times, get the belt, defend it. Then he got in trouble with all the EPO stuff after the Cejudo fight when he went down. And that, it is the big blemish, right? That's the big asterisk on there. But I just think the run that he had, the way that he looked before the injury, he literally fought until his shoulders fell off. His last fight, what was it, against Aljamain Sterling? It just showed it was just time had passed. His body was just done. But I think the way that he won the belt, the way that he beat Cody Garbrandt, the close fight that he had with, arguably the bantamweight GOAT and Dominic Cruz, could have gone either way, the split decision, puts TJ Dillashaw on your 135-pound Mount Rushmore list. Number 4, and not for last, I have Uriah Faber. I think he's the true pioneer of the little guys. Spent some time at featherweight, but I think he's definitely most known for his time at bantamweight. Was never the UFC Bantamweight champion, but I mean, ups and downs. He was able to keep his longevity all the way till about 40 years old, especially that fight that he had with Ricky Simone. But I mean, the fights that he had with Dominic Cruz, Jose Aldo, Uriah Faber, I mean, the California kid, you cannot discuss, just like Dominic Cruz, you cannot discuss 135 pounds without the name of Uriah Faber. And, win or lose, the guy always showed up. And it's almost speechless in the way, like, even though he was never able to capture UFC gold, he's still a legend in his own right. He's still a pioneer in his own right. And I think that alone etches him into the history of the Mount Rushmore list for 135 pounds. But I want to discuss my honorable mention, and that would be Aljamain Sterling. I think Aljo, everything that he did on his way to the title, the way he won the title originally, it's a bit of an asterisk with the illegal knee, but, with that rematch that he had with Jan, he was able to kind of write that off, become a true champion in that way. He was able to represent after that point, too, how a champion should, the way he carried himself. Had some good victories over Henry Cejudo, TJ Dillashaw, but I think he would have definitely been on the list over TJ if it wasn't for his loss to Sugar Sean O'Malley. If he would have won that fight, I know that he was physically compromised, but he took the fight. He ended up losing, and I think the way that he beat TJ just wasn't there physically in that fight as well. So I just don't think it's hard, it's just hard to judge. So it's just one of those things where he was so dominant against TJ, but you could tell TJ didn't even have a shoulder in that fight. And then the fight with Sugar Sean O'Malley, he was a bit rushed in that fight, but as champion, he didn't even have to fucking take it. So that was strange. But then again, just the run that he had on his way to the belt, his fight with Cody Stamann, Pedro Munoz, his fights with Jan, his fight with Corey Sandhagen, where he choked him out so quickly. So Aljo definitely deserves very high praise, and I mean, honestly, neck and neck with him and TJ, in my opinion, even with the whole steroid accusations. And I think with Aljo going up to 145 after the title loss too, I think kind of was even if I think if he would have even lost again at 135 and fought again, I think that still would have probably added to his resume. If that even makes sense, I don't even know at this point. But that's who I have for my Mount Rushmore. I have Dominic Cruz, Merab Dvalishvili, TJ Dillashaw, Uriah Faber, and then the honorable mention, Aljamain Sterling. All right, guys, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Who do you guys have as your Mount Rushmore? I'd love to hear your guys'. Let's try and keep it respectful, but I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.